Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So out at the range, and I'm about to take my first shots with a Savage Model 114 chambered in 300 Win Mag. I referenced getting a 300 Win Mag the other night when I did a kind of a random live stream. I did mention that I was hoping to have the rifle by the time the week was up, and it turned out that made it happen. So I loaded up some Spear 172 grain and 190 grain impact bullets. I had 25 of the 172s left, and I had 15 of the 190s left. And I haven't really had much luck with those bullets in 308, or I think I tested the 190s in 30 TC maybe, or it might have been the 172s, whatever it was. But I've had really good luck with that bullet, the 140 grain impact in 6.5 Creedmoor, but just haven't really had a ton of luck in the 30 cal version. So I decided, since I had just kind of some random, quantities left over, might as well load those up and see how they shoot in this 300 Win Mag. If they shoot amazing, then I'll pick up some more boxes of them, but if not, no big deal. I'll just burn up whatever I've got left and then be done. So, and then I did load up 2 5-shot groups with the Hornady 212 ELDX. All of these loads are with H4350, so, and the chronograph is already set up. I was just shooting some 243 Winchester, and you're hearing a ton of wind because it's extremely windy today. So one of the reasons I kind of hate filming out here at the range, where this range is located, it's a wind tunnel, so it stays pretty windy pretty much year round out here. So all right, well, I'm just going to leave the session running from the 243. I've written down all the data, and I'll do the same for 300 Win Mag. So we'll see what we get with this first shot. I did do a bore sight on it, so we'll see. I put the True Glow TX6. This is the 4-24 by 50, I believe it is. Scope from True Glow that I just picked up not too long ago. CW, my buddy, he picked one up as well. So go check out his video that he did on it. Really good stuff. But I want to see how it handles the recoil of the 300 Win Mag. Now for the first one, this is 65.5 grains of H4350, and this is with the 172 grain impact. Chambered no problem, so that's nice. .2809. I did not write down what the expected velocities were, but the H4350, that is not a great velocity powder, at least according to Spear. I did pull up the Spear impact load data for both of these bullets in 300 Win Mag, and H4350 is toward the bottom in terms of velocity, so it's not really the best option for you. There are better options available to you to push these harder to get some better velocity, but at the same time, H4350, that's one of the powders in the 300 Win Mag category. That's one of the powders that I have a decent amount of, so I can actually load up some of these and test them. So that's why I went with it. And also I'm using, I went ahead and loaded up these test rounds in the SIG primed brass that I got from American Reloading. So that's what all of these are loaded in. That first one didn't feel too bad in terms of recoil. don't think I did as good a bore sight job as I thought. All right, that second one was 28.43. $28.61.1. Well, the brass is looking fine. And even though I've got 50 rounds loaded up, there's no way I'm gonna get all this stuff shot today. I just simply don't have time. And I'm not exactly sure I feel like shooting 50 rounds of 300 Win Mag. So, not all at once at least. $28.67.6. All right, got one more and then I'm switching back over to the 243. And on the 243, it's the project that I'm working on for my buddy Adam and his son. And that was where I came out the other day and I was shooting the 85 grain spear, boat tail, Spitzer point bullet with IMR 4895, and I was definitely over pressure with my loads. I exceeded the maximum, or the velocity that was listed in the manual, in the Spear manual. I exceeded it pretty quickly, or well short of the max charge that was listed in the manual. I think the max charge was 41.5 grains, and I was at basically 3,300 feet per second at 40.7 grains. So 0.8 below max, and I was 50 feet above their posted velocity, which, if I had to guess, they're not using some short barrel, 243 Winchester, probably a 24-inch test barrel, which the barrel on this 110 that I'm working on, I believe it's a 22-inch. Even if it is a 24-inch, I'm over, definitely over pressure in terms of where I want to be, at least. The primers were getting cratered pretty bad. Before I shot these rounds, I dropped the charge weights down. I'm sticking with the same bullet. I like that bullet option in the 243, and I like that powder, but I'm just gonna obviously lower my charge weights. And the first one I tested right before these shots, I think the average was, I believe you guys saw it on the screen, I think the average was like 30.45 or something like that, or 30.50 was the average. And I was, 37.4 grains, and I was somewhere around the 30.50 mark. So today I'm testing 37.4, 37.8, 38.2, 38.6, and 39. So we'll see how those do. All right, last one for this group. .8. All right, well, I need to get some more shooting done and not as much yakking, so you guys hang tight and I'll go over the results, velocity and group size and all that fun stuff for 300 Win Mag and 243. So you guys sit tight and just be patient. All right, guys, so we're back at the house, out in the building at the reloading bench. Want to go over some of the results with the 300 Win Mag and the 243 Winchester. So the 243 Winchester down here with that 85 grain Spear boat tail Spitzer point bullet. We started off, I believe, let's see, I didn't shoot the fifth 5-shot group. That was the 39 grain charge, and so that was the 38.6, 38.2, 37.8, and 37.4. And so the middle charge weight, the 38.2, that's the one that I'm going to end up going with. I actually pulled that shot low. I did make a scope adjustment up. I was just a little concerned that I might, if the point of impact kind of trended downward at all, I was going to end up being off the paper. And so after this second group, I did make a scope adjustment up, and then I shot the next two groups. I didn't shoot the fifth group. I simply ran out of time. But this is, the average was like right at 3,100 feet per second on this group. And so velocity was looking pretty good. We did take a decent jump up from this group to this group in velocity. So I just want to hang around this 38.2 grain charge. And, you know, I did pull that one low. It is what it is. I mean, it's part of shooting. You're going to do that. So it happens. But overall, I kind of like the way that group was trending, and sort of similar with these other two here, especially this group. That was the 37.8 grain charge. So we put 4 fairly close together and then have 1 just outside there as well. So I like the way those 2 groups look. So we're going to roll with 38.2. This is not something, this project was not meant to be a, hey, let's develop a, you know, quarter MOA 5-shot group, go out, shoot a 20-shot group, and it's got to be under an inch, blah, 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 whatever the latest and greatest requirement is that people on the interwebs are saying that you have to meet for it to be a good load, right? This is going to be good enough to kill anything they shoot at with this rifle. So I will make a scope adjustment down. I'll just come down 2 clicks and then call it done. Now transitioning away from that, so that'll be the load that I settle on and go with, and that of course is in that federal primed brass that I got from American Reloading. So I'll just process the other 50 pieces I have remaining, and I'll load up 50 with that load, IMR 4895, 38.2 grains at 2.625 overall length, and give it back to them. They're good to go. Now switching to the 300 Win Mag. When I first started shooting the 300 Win Mag, I started with the 172 grain Spear Impact load that I was testing. And I shot the first 2 at a steel target that was off to the left of this target, and I missed it both times. I thought I did a pretty decent job of bore sighting, but I did not. And so I moved over to this target, held dead center, and the next 3 went right here, almost off the paper. So I was a good bit off. But I was actually, and this is terrible, this is not that great, but I was somewhat pleased to see these 3 even shoot that close to each other, because in the past I have had some struggles with the Spear Impact bullets in the 30 cal variety, the 172 and the 190. They just haven't really shot well for me. And so I shot one, that was the only 172 grain group I shot. So unfortunately I only got 3 shots on that one. I shot one group with the 190s. That was that guy right there. So 4, you know, touching, kind of stringing along. That wasn't that great. And then 1 out to the right of it. That's probably a 2-inch group, or close to it, if I had to guess. Definitely not a 1-inch group, I can tell you that right now. But what was really nice to see was these 2 groups right here. These 2 5-shot groups. Now these are with the, because I ran out of time, so that was why I just simply did not have enough time to let the barrel cool, you know, and get all of the shooting done that I wanted to. So I did 1 5-shot group with the 172s, 1 5-shot with the 190s, and then I shot both 5-shot groups. This is with the 212 ELDX, and so really happy with how these turned out. This is 64.5 grains of H4350, and this is 65.5. So I did a 1 grain jump, and the 65.5, I believe that is the max charge listed in the Hornady manual. So I just went with the max charge, which I believe they show, let's see, this is the 10th edition. I think I got the 11th edition in the house. .301 mag, 212 ELDX, H4350, 65.5 is your max, and they show 2,800 feet per second. So with that bit of information, we were at 2767 for our 5-shot average. So not too far off the the manual velocity that was listed. And we did go with a cartridge overall length of 3.510. They have 3.500 in their manual. So, and the only reason I went with 3.510 is because I did the bullet seating with the CH tool and die bullet seating die, and I'm a big fan of the micrometer seating dies, and this one of course doesn't have that. So it is a bit of a pain in the butt to make so many adjustments trying to fine tune your seating depth with an adjustment like this. And so I got to 3.510. I was like, you know what, that's good. I'm gonna call it done there. So, you know, could have tried to tweak it a little bit more to get that last 10 thousandths down, but whatever is what it is. Not far off on the velocity listed in the manual, so that was nice. And then the 64.5 grain charge, we were averaging 2730. So that was good to see. Now over on the spear impact side of the house, I don't know what the velocities are that they had listed on their load data. I tracked it down online. I was able to find the load data for both the 172 and the 190. I just can't remember what the velocities were that they were seeing. That 65.5 grain group, that first one I shot, and I did kind of a weird jump just because the 65.5 was the minimum. That was the starting charge that they had on their load data for the 172, and they go up to 69.1. I was wanting to jump in 1 grain increments, but I didn't want to go down to 65.1 since their starting was 65.5. So that's why you kind of see a weird 0.6 jump and then 1 grain jumps after that. I still have yet to shoot these 4, so I'll just have to wait for another day, try to get those done. And then same thing on these 190s. I'll just have to wait for another day. But on the 190, let's see, on the 172, we were somewhere around that 2850, I believe, if I remember right. On the, I think it was 2850 or 2840, somewhere in that range was the average for this guy. And so we can definitely pump that up. Again, H4350, not the best velocity option according to the spear load data. There's other powders that are better suited to amp up your velocities. So, but like I said in the video, when I was out the range, I just have a decent amount of H4350. And so it should be a really good performer in terms of temp stability and all of that. So if I actually wanted to take this hunting, then this would be a pretty good option. On the 190, that 5-shot group, we were at 2804. So yeah, pretty pleased with how it turned out, especially the 212 ELDXs. And I mean, the spear impacts, I was just really pleasantly surprised to see how, you know, small sample size, but how they shot in that Savage 114. So, and these 212s, you know, yeah, I know, kind of had one out here. It is what it is, part of the group. So just go back, load up some more, and see how they do. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Nothing too crazy, but I was really pleased with how that Savage model 114 shot. It's the 114 Classic, so it's got the wood stock. Just really nice setup overall. Sort of more of a classic hunting setup. I did put the True Glow, it's like TX6 or whatever that scope model is. I put that on there just to see how it would handle the recoil. So far, it seemed to be handling it just fine. So no issues there in terms of making adjustments on the scope and it not holding zero. So what else? Yeah, I've been lucky enough to snag some really good 30 cal bullets here lately. Some 175 LRXs. I went ahead and picked up some of these, just they're 150 grain PowerPoint. I've never really loaded these, but this might be a good option if somebody wants a 308 or a 30-06 load worked up, and this would be a good hunting bullet to choose to go with. I picked up some 180 grain AccuBonds, so got a few boxes of those. Some 168 grain gold dots. These I believe are going to be in the, I think I'm going to use these in the 30 TC. So a lot more stuff coming 30 cal wise. Mostly centered around 300 Win Mag and 30 TC, but that's where I'm going to leave it. We'll catch you guys next time. Hope y'all enjoy it. Y'all have a good one.